A computer is an electronic device that takes in data and instructions, input, works and modifies data, processing, displays information or result, output. So, the computing operation can be classified into these three steps: input, processing, output. In this chapter, we will look at some of these functions performed by a computer and the components that make them work. Parts of a computer: common input devices, processing devices, common output devices, peripheral devices. In this session, we will learn about CPU, hard drive. The CPU, or the Central Processing Unit, is a hardware component and the computer's control center. A common analogy would be to look at it as the brain of the computer that does all the thinking. In terms of computing power, the CPU then is the most important element of a computer system. Simply called the processor at times, the CPU is the control unit that processes data and contains millions of transistors. On PCs, the CPU is housed in a single chip called a microprocessor. On bigger machines, CPUs need one or more printed circuit boards. Typical components of a CPU are the Arithmetic Logic Unit, ALU. It performs arithmetic and logical operations. The Control Unit. It searches instructions from stored memory and decodes and executes them. It calls on the ALU when needed to perform mathematical functions. Like all other hardware components, CPUs have improved with time, and the trend is unlikely to change anytime soon. A hard drive or hard disk is the primary storage device that a computer uses to store and retain information. The hard drive uses disks that are made of aluminium or glass. They generally offer more storage and quicker access to data than floppy disks or CD-ROMs. Hard disks provide fast retrieval because they rotate constantly at high speed. Sometimes there may be several disks in a hard drive. In a normal hard drive, these disks cannot be removed or replaced. However, there are removable disks encased in plug-in cartridges that allow data to be taken out of the drive for storage or for transfer. To supply the CPU with data, a fast hard drive is needed. Typically, hard drive sizes are measured in gigabytes. The larger the number, the more the number of applications that you can install. Capacity is measured in bytes, speed is measured in bytes per second, and access time in milliseconds, ms. Hard disk access time ranges from 3 milliseconds to 15 milliseconds. In this session, we will learn about mouse, keyboard. A mouse is an electromechanical input device that controls the movement of the pointer or the cursor on the screen. It is a small object that can be rolled along a flat, hard surface. The mouse translates the motion of the user's hand into signals that the computer can use. As you move the mouse, a pointer on the display screen moves in the same direction. A ball inside the mouse touches the desktop table and rolls when the mouse moves. Its name is derived from its shape and the fact that it scurries along a surface. A few of the tasks that a mouse can perform are activating menus, making selection of texts, drawing graphics. Invented in 1963 by Douglas Engelbart, the mouse is one of the great developments in the age of computing. To a large extent, it frees the user from working through the keyboard. In particular, the mouse is important for graphical user interface, as the user can then simply point to objects and options and click the mouse button. A mouse includes at least one button and sometimes as many as 3. These buttons have different functions depending on the program that is running. Some mouse include a scroll wheel to scroll through documents. There are cordless mouse too that aren't physically connected to the computer. Instead, they work through infrared or radio waves. The keyboard is an input device with 104 keys in a standard keyboard that enables the user to enter data into a computer. Computer keyboards resemble electric typewriter keyboards but contain additional keys. The keyboard can be used for typing the text and for giving various instructions to the processing unit of the computer. The keyboard is designed to take its power from the motherboard. The key switch sensors are arranged in a matrix of rows and columns. When a specific key is pressed, it generates a signal for the row and column assigned to that key. The major keys on the keyboard can be categorized as alphanumeric keys, letters and numbers, special function keys, such as function keys, arrow keys, control keys, shift keys, caps lock key, punctuation keys, such as comma, semicolon, period. Additional function keys. Most keyboards include the home, end, insert, page up, page down, caps lock, pause, num lock, scroll lock, and print screen keys. Processing devices can be summed up in a single unit called the Central Processing Unit. The main components of the 3 M's of personal computer are motherboard, memory, RAM, ROM, microprocessor. A motherboard is the central or primary circuit board of a computer. Also known as a system board or the main board, it contains the connectors that accept additional boards. The motherboard can be compared to the human body's nervous system. The wires on it, like nerves, transfer data between all other components. Having a high-quality motherboard is essential for a dependable computer. In a desktop computer, the motherboard contains the CPU, chipset, storage interfaces, parallel ports, memory, and controller circuits for the keyboard, mouse, printer, and disks. It may also have built-in controllers for standard peripheral devices such as the display screen, modem, sound, and network via connectors or cable. Memory refers to the internal storage areas in the computer. Before the computer can use them, all data, programs, and instructions must be stored in the system memory. The term also refers to physical memory, which are chips capable of holding data. The more memory a computer has, the faster the information can be accessed and will improve the computer's performance. There are different types of memory for different tasks. RAM, ROM. Memory unit. Byte is the common unit of computer storage. Regardless of the type of data being stored, a byte is commonly used as a unit of storage measurement in computers. It is equal to 8 binary digits or bits. A byte holds the equivalent of a single character, such as the letter A or a decimal point. A large amount of memory is indicated in terms of kilobytes, 1024 bytes, megabytes, 1,048,576 bytes, and gigabytes, 1024 megabytes. 1 megabyte is equal to 1024 kilobytes. Megabytes is the measurement used for the amount of hard drive space available, required, and used. For example, a computer with 8 MB RAM has approximately 8 million bytes of memory. Every computer comes with a certain amount of physical memory, usually referred to as the main memory or random access memory, RAM. RAM is the most common type of memory found in computers. The term also refers to read and write memory, as one can write data into RAM and read data from RAM. This is in contrast to ROM, which allows for only data to be read. RAM requires a steady flow of electricity to maintain its contents. In common usage, the term RAM has become synonymous with the memory available to computer programs. Computers always contain a small amount of read-only memory, ROM, that primarily holds instructions for starting up the computer and performing diagnostics. ROM chips contain programs and instructions which are specific for that particular motherboard and cannot usually be changed. ROMs are used extensively in calculators and peripheral devices such as printers. It is the computer memory on which data has been pre-recorded. Unlike RAM, ROM retains data even when the computer is turned off. Where RAM is volatile, ROM is seen as being non-volatile. PROM, Programmable Read-Only Memory, is a memory chip on which a program can be stored. EPROM, Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory, is a special type of PROM that can be erased by exposing it to ultraviolet light. Almost all computer components have at least one chipset on them. The CPU itself is a very important chip. Intel is generally credited with creating the first microprocessor in 1971 with the introduction of a chip called the 4004. The fate of both Intel and Microsoft was dramatically changed in 1981 when IBM introduced the IBM PC. It was based on a 4.77 MHz Intel 8088 processor running the Microsoft Disk Operating System MS-DOS 1.0. The Intel 386 microprocessor, released in 1985, featured 275,000 transistors, more than 100 times as many as the original 4004. It was a 32-bit chip and was multitasking, as it could run multiple programs at the same time. In 1993, the Intel Pentium processor allowed computers to easily incorporate real-world data such as speech, sound, handwriting, and photographic images. Released in 1995, the Intel Pentium Pro processor was designed to fuel 32-bit server and workstation applications, enabling fast computer-aided design, mechanical engineering, and scientific computation. In 1999, Pentium 3 was designed to significantly enhance Internet experiences, allowing users to store and download high-quality video. In the year 2000, Pentium 4 was introduced. It can create professional quality movies, deliver TV-like video via the Internet, render 3D graphics in real time, encode music for MP3 players, and simultaneously run several multimedia applications. In this session, we will learn about monitor, printer, speaker. A monitor is a screen on which text or images can be viewed. It is a device that takes signals from the computer and displays them on a screen. A monitor is another term for the display screen, and it is also called the visual display unit. However, the term monitor usually refers to the entire unit, whereas display screen can mean just the screen. The term monitor also implies graphic capabilities. A monitor has a component called a cathode ray tube, CRT, which is a specialized vacuum tube in which images are produced when an electron beam strikes a phosphorescent surface. In terms of their color capabilities, monitors can be colored, display from 16 to over 1 million different colors. Monochrome, display 2 colors. Grayscale, a special type of monochrome monitor capable of displaying different shades of gray. Printers are output devices which are used to make copies of processed data. These copies are called the hard copy of the data. Attached to the CPU, it allows the user to take the print of text and images, so it outputs data that is on the computer screen. There are different kinds of printers. Some are better than others at different tasks, such as for printing photographs or colored text. Networked computers usually print to a printer through the network card. The 3 main types of printers are character printers, line printers, page printers. Character printers. These printers print 1 character at a time. Dot matrix printers are an example of these type of printers, and they print each character in the form of dots. Line printers. These printers print an entire line at a time instead of 1 character. A fast line printer can print as many as 3,000 lines per minute. The disadvantage of line printers is that they cannot print graphics. The print quality is poor and they are noisy. Page printers. Page printers process an entire page at one time. All laser and inkjet printers are page printers, which means that they must have enough memory to store at least 1 page. The most common types of printers are laser and inkjet printers. Laser printer. The working principle of a laser printer is similar to a photocopy machine using heat transfer technology. In inkjet printers, spraying streams of quick-drying ink on paper forms letters and images. The ink is stored in a disposable ink cartridge. Some of today's office inkjet printers offer other functions as well, like faxing, scanning, or copying. A computer speaker is an output device that is used to listen to digital sounds or to music. The motherboard of a computer has a sound card attached to it. The speakers are attached to the CPU through the sound card. The sound card converts the digital signal from the software to an analog signal. The speaker amplifies these incoming analog signals to produce the required sound. Speakers can be internal or external. External speakers are better as they have an amplifier circuit to modify the analog signals received from the sound card. Peripheral devices are computer devices that are not part of the essential computer. Peripheral devices can be external, such as a scanner or a digital camera, or internal, such as a CD-ROM drive or internal modem. We will look at a few of these devices in this session. Modem, scanner, digital camera, floppy disk, pointing stick. A modem is an input device that allows the computer to interact with any other computer with the help of phone lines or optical fiber cables. The term modem is an acronym for modulator demodulator. Most people connect to the internet through the modem. It allows your computer to connect to another computer and to transfer data to and from other computers using the normal telephone line. Modems encode and decode signals sent to and from the network servers. Today, modems can send data up to 56,000 bits per second. That's more than 5,000 bytes per second. It is pretty fast, but even a small graphic can easily be of many thousand bytes in size. To use any modem, your internet service provider must support the format modem, ISDN, ADSL. A scanner is a device that is used to scan images and text and render them into a digital format. It can then read images and text into a computer. The scanned image can be saved, digitally altered, or sent to someone else. A scanner digitizes an image, dividing it into a grid of boxes. The resulting group of bits, called a bitmap, can be stored in a file, displayed on a screen, and manipulated by programs. Scanners differ from each other in terms of size and shape, resolution, the denser the bitmap, the higher the resolution, bit depth. Types of scanners. Depending on their particular features, there are different kinds of scanners available. Handheld scanners. Some scanners are small handheld devices that can be moved across the paper. These handheld scanners are often called half-page scanners because they can only scan 2 to 5 inches at a time. They are adequate for small pictures and photos, but they are difficult to use if you need to scan an entire page of text or graphics. Sheet-fed scanners. Larger scanners include machines into which you can feed sheets of paper. They are excellent for loose sheets of paper but are unable to handle bound documents. Flatbed scanners. Another type of large optical scanner. It is like a photocopy machine. Flatbed scanners consist of a board on which you can lay books and other documents that need to be scanned. Overhead scanners. They are also called copyboard scanners, and they look somewhat like overhead projectors. You can place documents face up on a scanning bed, and a small overhead tower moves across the page. Optical scanners. These scanners do not distinguish text from illustrations. As they represent all images as bitmaps, you cannot directly edit text that has been scanned. Photo scanners. They are a type of optical scanner that are especially designed for scanning photographs. Photo scanners are smaller than general-purpose scanners but offer higher resolution. A digital camera stores images digitally rather than recording them on film. So the photographs are stored in a digital format in the camera's memory and can be downloaded on a computer system. The pictures can also be manipulated with a graphics program and printed. While film photographs have an almost infinite resolution, digital photos are limited by the amount of memory in the camera. The optical resolution of the camera and the resolution of the final output device, say the printer, also affects the image. However, the big advantage of digital cameras is that the photos are inexpensive and produced faster. A floppy disk is a data storage device. Introduced by IBM in 1971, it is a reusable magnetic storage medium. Also called diskette, it is used primarily by computers to store data magnetically. Containing a circular piece of thin, flexible magnetic storage medium, a floppy disk is encased in a square or rectangular plastic case. Floppy disks are read and written on by a floppy disk drive. However, floppies spin at 10 to 30 times slower than a hard disk. Until recently, floppies were the primary method of distributing software to users, and then CD-ROMs became the preferred medium. Presently, floppy disks are very limited in their size and are slowly becoming outdated. CD-ROM drives are generally used to install a program or copy CDs. Today, CD-ROM drives have become necessary for most computer programs. A single CD can store at least 650 MB of data. The speed of the CD-ROM can be an issue if you are doing complex tasks like converting CDs to MP3s. The pointing stick is a pointing device trademarked by IBM, that looks like a pencil eraser. IBM popularized this device by introducing the track point on its ThinkPad notebooks and other laptops. It is embedded between the G, H, and B keys, and the mouse buttons are placed just below the spacebar. It moves with the forefinger, while the thumb is used to press related keys located in front of the spacebar.